What up, guys? I'm just out here, another day, another dollar, working on the old turbo Miata build. Nothing too crazy going on today. We're just cleaning up the transmission, sealing it up, that sort of stuff. So I'll kind of walk you through where we're at right now, everything. So we're outside the carport. It's good because it's raining a little bit, but not too bad. It's not coming down at us. But yeah, basically I cleaned out the shifter turret because it was absolutely disgusting in here. It was full of like sludge and whatnot. So I just took this apart and cleaned it all out. There's a little bit of junk still in there, not bad. So we just need to seal up each side of this, put it together. Do the same with this cover. Though there wasn't really any sludge in there, so that wasn't bad. So yeah, we're just doing that. We also need to just clean off the whole case in here. It's not too bad, but you know, just do what we can real quick. And then we'll be replacing the drive shaft seal. And then on the inside there's a seal that goes behind this input shaft. So I'll be doing those two. But that should be pretty easy, pretty quick. So yeah, I'll just get started on that. We'll time lapse it or something. Alright, so you just watch me scrub down the transmission first. So, I mean, it's looking a lot better. Still a little bit of dirt on it, not too bad. So I'm probably just gonna call it good there. Might, I don't know, try and get like a brush or something up in here. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much all it is. Alright guys, I got the whole transmission clean as it can be. It's pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Alright, my bad guys, I just replaced the seal. I forgot to show you how I did that. This one's easy. So basically you just get a small flathead little hammer, and then you kind of get this right there on the lip. You see that in there? And then you kind of just smack, 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 and you go around a little bit each side, and a few hits it'll pop right out. And here's the trash. Here's what comes out. And you just oil it up on the edge there and put it on. And it's a press fit, so what you need to do is you can use a small like socket with the hammer again and just slowly and gently tap it around the outside. And I just do a few circles around and it seats it right down. So that one's easy to replace, that one's taken care of. Looks good. On to the next. Alright, this one's a little bit different. You just take out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that plate will pop right off. And then we will be putting in this gasket there. I don't know what this is for. Maybe that's the shaft. I haven't taken one of these apart in a while, so we'll see. Alright. Pulled those bolts out and the plate comes right off. See, that's the gasket in the back there. Here, this is just chilling. right on there, so you can rip that off. Throw that away. I'll probably wipe that off, and I'll replace that in a sec, and yeah, I'll be back. Alright, so I got that out. Kind of just rip it out, honestly. It's pretty tight in there. So I used a screwdriver and got in around the edge and loosened it up a little bit, and then got under it and popped it out. So now we have the new one. Just oil the edge and then pop it on in. And remember, this one actually faces this way, not that way. So the open side is actually toward the transmission, and this sealed up side is facing outwards. Alright, does that make sense? Yeah, you can see that. Okay, cool, I'll do that real quick. Alright, so, sorry, I'm still figuring out the recording while working on car stuff here, but I did finish all this up, installed the seals and that front plate again on the front there. This is the V8 Roadster's mount, so I have that just chilling there for now until this is ready to install. So what I'm waiting on now is I need to bring this down to the machine shop. This flywheel is pretty glazed, so I'm just going to get this resurfaced real quick, and then this can all go back in the car. Now, if you see over here, we got the Flying Miata Stage 1 Happy Meal clutch kit, so this is pretty good for you know, street track, pretty much like up to 318 pound-feet of torque, or something like that, I don't know. So that should be plenty. The transmission will blow before the clutch does, so we're good there. Other than that, we're gonna be, after that's installed, we're doing the drive shaft along with that. And then that should be pretty good on the drivetrain. You know, we got a little bit intercooler piping and intercooler we need to install. Fuel lines, brake lines, all the electrical, that sort of stuff, but not too much left in terms of the big stuff. And one of the things I forgot to mention is need to change out the speed sensor on here. I believe that's this guy. And so the reason for that is the Miata differential has a totally different ratio than the GetTrag diff that's in the car right now. It's like a 3:4:2, I think, is the rear end ratio that I chose. So it's not going to be 100% accurate, but I need to get the Miata 363 speed sensor, and that should get me within a couple miles an hour. So it should be fairly accurate, which is good. And so that I'll need to do, but I can always do that after the trans is installed. It's pretty easy to get to. Alright, and then I just want to give you guys a quick update on where we're at with the car and the rest of the stuff. So, ooh, a lot of condensation last night, so this is might need a little wipe down because that's disgusting. Oh, that looks awful. But that's fine. So yeah, the engine bay is looking pretty good. We got first part of the intercooler piping taken care of. We just need the intercooler, and then we can put on the other side. And I'll go up to here. We'll need some, like a 2.5 inch to 2 inch adapter, because these turbos kind of stink. But that's fine, it's cheap, 20 bucks. Use the stock radiator pipe, and then kind of trimmed off the ends a little bit so that it fit in here nicely. It wasn't, you know, kinking or anything. But the intercooler pipe is literally just gonna go out and around. And then, you know, intercooler just slots right up in there. Pretty easy. You also notice we got Super Miata cross flow radiator. That's a really nice piece. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, no, that's where we're at right now. Nothing too crazy. You can see I have the wiring all mocked up on the engine side. So everything's pretty much wired up. This connector's a little loose, but I can always do that. You got GM air intake temp right down there. See that? Yeah. And then what else? Yeah, we got different pigtails for the Deechworks injectors that are wired in, and you can see that's basically where all the wires run through, is under the intake manifold, up and in there. That is the vacuum line going into the cabin. It's pretty stealth. And then you can see right there is way down in there. Yep, that's the new grounding point right on the block. So how it had its stock was some of the wires grounded on the intake manifold, some grounded on the fuel rail. I don't know, it was all over the place. It was a mess. So now I just have all the grounds going right to the block right there. Should be easy. Another thing I did was I spliced in the fuel rail, the fuel wires and the coil packs here, so there's no connectors or anything. This is just straight wired into the harness permanently like that. And then the last thing I did is, see, I got these two random wires here. I'm gonna tape those up into the harness. That's gonna be for electronic boost controls. So that's all the way around into the cabin with everything else. So if I want to add that on after the fact, it's simply just pull the tape back here and splice on some wires to the boost controller. Pretty simple and easy. Yeah, other than that, we're just waiting on some parts from Send Cut Send for the alternator swap here. You can see we're still got little 3D printed parts in there. Yeah, that guy. So we'll get that. We got a few spacers and whatnot. But yeah, that's kind of the setup for that. Pretty much the stock location's pretty good. It sits out like a little bit further, but not too much. So you can see the clearance is pretty tight. You know, you don't want this hitting the tensioner. And then the bolt here also, it's like a finger width to slide in there, so this can't be like skipping around or anything, but that's fine. Alternator belts are usually tight. Yeah, so that's pretty much where we're at right now with things. Internally, this thing's, oh, you can see it's disgusting. But she's gutted inside completely. I got the fuel tank in there, but that's about it. Wiring kind of comes through right there. It's a little bit of a mess right now, so ignore that. It's all gonna sit up here on this tray, basically. This is where I'm gonna mount the ECU Master, PMU, and Mega Squirt, so everything should be pretty easily accessible, and you can see the wire is right there, so they're just gonna come right up through here and go to the devices. Pretty easy and simple. Hey guys, if you're into DIY builds, budget parts, or figuring stuff out in your garage, we're building this whole thing from the ground up, and we're sharing the whole process. So if you want to follow along, hit the like, leave a comment, and subscribe. It helps more than you think. We're really just trying to grow a community of people who do stuff like us at home. So we have a lot more coming soon, some clean, some sketchy, but thanks for watching.